Shem Kodash, double honor to the apostles, a great millstone, do well. Peace, love, and blessings to the brothers on the highways and byways, giving all diligence to make a call and election sure, and blessings to the very few sisters out there listening, learning, and believing. I, that fellow Kanakla, coming at you once again with another lesson, Lord's will, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Shem Yahushai, that's edifying and also exhorting. And this is more so exhortation, just keeping a watch. Oh man, we almost out of here, and things like this is what feed our spirit. Seeing the downfall of Babylon the Great, aka America. All right, seeing this place crumble. All right, seeing this place decay. All right, basically implode. All right, upon itself. And right now, what's no mystery or no secret. The economy is at an all-time low. Okay, with the dollar dropping, its value dropping, jobs being lost, and this one is just stores closing. Okay, so I'm gonna read. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read Habakkuk 2, verse 3. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time." All right, and then what the vision is ultimately at the end. That's what all the prophets saw. The end. Okay, the end, the destruction, the deliverance. Okay, so the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. And right now we're at the end because it's speaking. Okay, and it shall not lie though it tarry. Wait for it because it will surely come. It will not tarry. All right, and that's the patience and the faith of the saints. But I remember off this one song, Jake said, been waiting a long time, so I don't have to be patient no more. All right, just a figure of speech. But hey, it's here now. All right, now is the time for rejoicing. So 99-year-old retail chain quietly closing over 500 stores. All right. When a huge retailer steadily shuts down stores without making a major announcement, it can be hard to see the enormity of the move. Some retailers have made no effort or have been given no choice when it comes to talking about their store closures. Rite Aid, for example, has been winding down its entire operation with all its stores slated to close. All right, so that's less jobs. All right. Perplexity. All right, people in straits. Jobs being lost, and then we go to the market to find a job. It's really no jobs left. All right, you still got these, even the gig jobs like Uber and little delivery jobs. Even I'm in contact or communication with a family member, and they saying even Uber is waning, man. All right. It says that has brought attention to rival CVS, Walgreens, both of which are closing hundreds of stores in 2025. Okay, hundreds of so this year. It says in other cases, chains have wavered on the amount of stores closing. Clary's, for example, was at risk of closing all of its locations, but found a buyer and now will only shutter about 300. And usually when you see stuff like this, found a buyer, all right, that's basically an investment, company comes in. And what happens is they don't really put too much money into it. Their whole objective is just to make profit. So they'll basically send down all these regulations to corporate, saying how they don't want people getting this amount of hours. All right, they don't need this many people on a clock. So what happens is when these companies come in and buy these things, the employees that they have, they get overworked. So let's say it took 10 people to do one task. They'll literally have like anywhere from 3 to 5 people to do the job that 10 people usually does. And they overwork those 3 to 5 people. And what happens is those people end up quitting, and they never basically fully staff the place again because they're trying to make profit because they bought the company. All right, so that's what it's all about. This thing bugging out right now. All these pop-ups coming up, of course. says Claire's, for example, was at risk of closing all of its locations, but found a buyer and now will only shutter about 300 at home. Has also shared different numbers of stores that will close as it navigates Chapter 11 bankruptcy. 7-Eleven. Right, everybody's familiar with 7-Eleven. However, it's so big that its decision to close over 500 stores hardly got noticed. That's partially because the company isn't publicly traded in the United States. And you notice that when you go to 7-Eleven, you see mostly Elon in there, man. All right, foreigners. It says, and while it does release financial results, they are not covered nearly as much as they would be if the company traded on a U.S. exchange. The chain has methodically thinned out its store count. And when it's finished, it will be roughly 550 stores smaller in the U.S. Great old 7-Eleven sell you all this fucking processed foods, pizza, frozen, all that shit's terrible for you. Brothers shouldn't be eating that shit, man. Even if it's always it's lawful, brothers, a cheese pizza. No, that shit's bad for you. Okay? And of course this I might have to refresh it. It's bugging out on me. Alright. 7-Eleven reasons. Where did I start off at? Okay. Key retailers and their store closure plans. Macy's closing 66 stores in 2025. Overall plan to shutter about 150 stores by early 2027. CVS closed 900 stores between 2022 and 2024. Plans to close 270 more in 2025. Walgreens, Boots Alliance closing 333 stores in 2025. Aimed at trimming underperforming locations. Party City closing 638 stores in 2025. The chain is being liquidated in Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which they came out a couple years ago. And that's when Brothers was on that heavy Party City. And they brought out the scriptures, the mirth is gone, which is, which that's an omen. Party City to just file for bankruptcy. They basically liquidating, all right, everything. So that's the mirth being gone. All right, as we heard about 7-Eleven. 444 stores, and it's through the Spirit. Elder Gabar just posted up a video. All right, going into this about the stores being closed in the streets. All right. So he says 7-Eleven reason for closing U.S. stores, declining foot traffic. The company reported 7.3% drop in store visits in August 2024, continuing 6 months downward trend, and people just don't have the money no more. That's really what it is. All right, decreased cigarette sales. Cigarette purchase, once a significant revenue stream for convenience stores, have fallen by 26% since 2019. Alternative nicotine products like Zyn have gained popularity, haven't compensated for the overall decline in tobacco sales. So even the, people that did compensate don't got the money. From what I hear, cigarettes are expensive. I've never been a cigarette smoker, but I hear people always speak about how expensive they are. Shifting consumer preferences. There's a growing demand for affordable, high-quality food options. 7-Eleven is responding by expanding its its fresh food and beverage offerings, aiming to meet changing customer expectations. Exactly, all that fucking processed food. You got. Don't get me wrong. That you got people out there that's getting hip to all this processed shit, and they want real food. The health is declining, so they got no choice. But healthier food, all right, means higher prices. Fresh food means higher prices. That's just how that goes. Okay, why you think he's so heavy in processing food? Because it's way cheaper. Processed food is way cheaper, and it can be produced very fast and in abundance. Far as the natural way of things grow. All right. It says basically the chain has decided to cull its fleet of underperforming locations while also remodeling hundreds of stores and building new model 7-Elevens. And I see that's happening with Wawa's too, remodeling and whatnot. Many of these stores include It's raised the roost chicken and biscuits, or it's Laredo taco concepts. Well, you get it, man. All right, this place is finished. Okay, people can barely pay their rent, let alone stop at 7-Eleven. All right, or all these other stores that's planning on. So let's get the precepts again. You know, these are the same precepts being brought out. Nothing changes, just updating you. All right, and we'll Ecclesiastes 12, and I just get right to the point. It says, "And the door shall be shut in the streets when the grind, it's like when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low." So ultimately this, you know, you can do twofold. You can take the actual quality of the music being brought low, and then the mirth, all right, being brought low. Nobody wants to sing and dance when you know, they don't have jobs or work, unemployment, you know, businesses is shutting down. People are happy when they're making money. Why? Because they can provide and, you know, take care of things they need to take care of. All right. Go from there to Luke 21 because I got another article just to update, you know. Again, exhortation, just to give you that push to keep going. You know, it's almost over with. This last article I'm going to get, and I'm going to close it out. It says 1 week to go, until the moon takes a bite out of the sun during partial solar eclipse on September 21st. And these are always, you know, little goodies the Most High sends, because this is the Most High communicating. These are signs. You know, he said the moon, the lesser light, you know, these lights in the heavens in the firmament shall be used as signs. All right, tokens. This is the Most High communicating. So it says, "Get ready, sun lovers. We're just 1 week away from the September 21st partial solar eclipse. The moon will appear to take a bite." What?
She said that to ask you to put some toothpaste on my toothbrush.
Oh, you're going to have to wait. I'm doing something right now. It says, "Get ready, sun lovers. We're just 1 week away," Salaki about that, "away from September 21st partial solar eclipse. The moon will appear to take a bite from the sun for observers across the South Pacific, including New Zealand, a silver of Eastern Australia, several Pacific Islands, and portions of Antarctica. The partial solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes directly in front of the sun during a new moon phase, occultating a swathe of its disk while stopping short of blocking it entirely. Roughly 16.6 million people, or 0.2% of the world population, will see at least some portion of the partial solar eclipse according to the time and date. All right, and again, signs of the times. Now, this was talking about the return of the Lord. All right, which this passage, Luke 21, Matthew 24. Okay, these are, you know, it's twofold, because it was talking about 70 AD and also talking about the times we're living in now. So Luke 21 and 25, and it says, "And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon." All right, so clearly that's what we see here. All right, Babylon falling, economy is collapsing, signs in the suns and the moon. So just exhortation for brothers just to hang in there, keep fighting. You know, hang in there, bro. Keep fighting, keep believing, keep praying, and keep hoping. All right, our redemption draweth nigh. Says, "And there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations." And you see that. All right, definitely last week we saw that uproars, protests. All right, and of course you got the beautiful old USA, a lovely, you know, civil wars is boiling. All right, in here. So it says, "With perplexity the sea and the waves roaring." All right, men's heart failing them for fear and looking for after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Okay, so that's pretty much it. You know, we ain't got too much to go. All right, and as I firmly believe, which I'm pretty sure other brothers would agree, and even so-called conspiracies theorists, all right, which I shouldn't even say that word, but that's what they call it. That's what it is. But they will not allow the system to collapse on its own. They're going to need an event to blame it on, all right, as it implodes, because then they don't want to take the blame or the fall for it, so they're going to blame it on an event or multiple events. All right, so with that, Lord willing, is that a fine? Giving all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Till the next time, we say Shalom.